And music that is not melodic is meaningless. If you'll take one of each page, please. There should be two. And it didn't collate, so one of that. I'll get you the second page here. We essentially, if we believe what I just said, that music needs harmony and melody to work, then stuff like snare drum music, tom-toms, percussion music, everybody has 2 pages now?
He's only one.
Okay, here you go. Here's page 2. Okay. And we know from our theory classes, forgive me, I'm going to have to do some fast reversing of pages here. In our theory classes, we were taught that cadences, you can only define cadences as authentic or imperfect or perfect authentic based on notes, right? I say BS. I say I can look at rhythm and tell you where the cadences are and the phrases are. We know that long looks for short. We know that music is about tension and release. And I think even in snare drum music, we can hear where cadences are. Now, I'm going to try to play this for you. This is a fairly simple little snare drum solo. I'll play this for you, and I'll try to follow just the explicit dynamics that are on it, okay? Okay, so I followed the dynamics pretty well, right? Played all the right rhythms except for at the end there where I screwed up because the old man's eyes couldn't focus fast enough down around the stand. That's all there is to it, right? If I went to a contest and somebody was evaluating me, what would they say?
That was okay.
I played stuff that was on there. I did the right roll measurement, right? I did the right rolls. I played the dynamics differently like I was supposed to. For the most part, I played the right rhythms. There were 3 or 4 little errors there. The long crescendos were long crescendos like they're supposed to be. Okay, right? I'd probably walk away with a first place medal. And yeah, exactly. Thank you, Bram. If I were a percussionist judging that, I'd do the same thing. I'd go, oh, no, there's so much more to it. What can you tell me about phrases in this piece of music? How are phrases defined just through the rhythm?
It's the concept we talked about, long notes, or most of the time in snare music, the faster notes seek the longer notes.
Okay.
To indicate a phrase.
Okay. So what can you tell me about the phrases in this piece of music? How long are the phrases usually?
2 measures.
Yeah, they can be 2 to 4 measures. Yeah, they usually, you could make an argument, I think, for 2 measure phrases and 4 measure phrases. You could talk about antecedent consequent phrase relationships, you know, the question-answer phrases that we know are in music. And I could probably tell you, well, okay, look at the first phrase. It's 4 bars. It's a repeated phrase, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now, what do we know about musical truisms? This is just a repeat, right?
Same thing twice?
I did the same thing twice. It's the same thing twice when I did the same, and what's the rule?
Don't do the same
Don't
thing
do the same thing twice. So how do I make this more musical? Just the first phrase. What could I do?
Play it softer, second, third.
Okay. I could do that. I could suddenly play it softer, or I could diminuendo like I chose to do. Why would a diminuendo make sense?
Because you're starting fortissimo, which technically is the lowest you should play.
Okay, but that's not telling me why I should diminuendo. That's just saying, well, I started fortissimo. To answer that question, what do I have to do?
Look
I have to
forward
look ahead, right? Where's the next dynamic change?
to the piano.
To the piano, right? Now my choice is, if that whole section was supposed to be forte, to complete the composer's intention, shouldn't I end this section forte? So I'm going to want to be back to forte by the time of that long note roll on the 3rd line down. Does everybody believe that? Okay, so, and how am I going to get there? Well, if I diminuendo in the 3rd and 4th measure, and I play even just mezzo piano, yakataka yakataka da 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 da, yada da 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 yada da 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 dum hi. Right? Doesn't that make more sense?
Yeah.
Much more musical. Now, what about these repeated groupings of notes? Yaga-daga-da, yaga-daga-da, dee, da-da, da-da, yaga-daga-da, yaga-daga. Is there anything implied in these groupings of notes? Sure, I could. Yeah, I could. Now, what you just sang, Sergio, yaga-daga-da, tiga-daga-da, incorporated several of these musical truisms. First of all, yada-da-da-da, short looks for long. Da-da-da-da, the emphasis, ya-da-da-da-da, never repeat the same thing twice. Ya-da-da, so pull away from it, right? And I also added an accent to the first, or the second, ya-da-da-da-da, to differentiate that from the other. Ya-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da-da. Sure. Dee-da-da-da, da-da, ya-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da-da. Now, what would be cool if you look in that second line and I crescendo, decrescendo, ya-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da-da, and I do the same thing again. Ya-da-da, dee-da-da. What am I doing differently to the next one? Ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da. I keep going, right? And I've set up then an expectation in my listener, oh, it's coming back. You know, they expect ya-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da-da again, because the phrases have been very symmetrical so far, right? So I'm keeping some nuance and some artfulness in this by not giving you exactly what you expect. I set you up for something, I take you through it again with a different rhythm, and then presto, something new, I finish, complete different dynamic. Now, if we do that, if I perform this, I'm going to go down to the piano again. I'm going to do it as it's written. Okay, accurate, yes? Okay. Sorry, I'm going to do it again for you. Should have written it in because I couldn't remember what you said. One more time here.